It's Bizu back with another video. Today, what's going on, everyone? We have some insane fraud, basically. And honestly, I have to say, we have an investor that's been tied to troubled bank loans who were charged with fraud by the US. Essentially, we have a California real estate investor who was accused by Western Alliance Bancorp of almost $100 million in fraud, criminally charged by the US. His name is Mahender Makhijani, 44. I hope I'm getting it right. I'm just saying. Now, this is him. Ladies and gents, this is him.
Crore rupees. Indian origin businessman Mahender Makhijani was arrested in the US after
Oh my god, that hairline. Oof.
federal prosecutors accused him of defrauding a bank out of almost $100 million. The Department of Justice said Makhijani controlled a lending company called Cantor Group 5. According to prosecutors, the company received funding from a bank using real estate loans as collateral. Under the lending agreement, the loans pledged as collateral had to give the bank first rights over the underlying properties if borrowers failed to repay. That protection made the collateral more valuable and reduced the bank's risk. But prosecutors alleged some of the collateral did not actually provide those protections. Instead, title insurance documents allegedly made those loans appear safer and more valuable than they really were. Federal prosecutors alleged the title policies were altered before being submitted to the bank. Authorities also alleged that false explanations were later provided through calls and documents after the bank raised concerns. According to prosecutors, had the bank known the true value of the collateral, it would have considered the company to be in default and demanded immediate repayment of nearly $100 million. If convicted, Makhijani could face up to 30 years in federal prison. But the fraud allegations were not the only legal troubles surrounding Makhijani. Months earlier, he had already come under scrutiny in a separate civil dispute with a former business associate over California real estate assets. The New York Post also reported allegations linking Makhijani to alleged sex and drug parties. Court filings in the same dispute described pressure tactics, intimidation, and attempts to gain control over hotels and other properties. An arbitrator reportedly awarded more than $1.3 billion in damages connected to that dispute. But those allegations belong to a separate civil case and were not part of the federal fraud investigation. And in the criminal case, the allegations against Makhijani had not been proven in court at the time of his arrest.
I have to say this because honestly, this is insane. 100 million. Now, this is all alleged. This is all alleged. This case is ongoing. But yes, he is a California-based businessman with Indian origin. We'll just say that, okay? He was arrested for defrauding, and it's just insane to see. I mean, they're alleging that he had sex parties. They're alleging that he had all these other things. Now, this is alleged. This is alleged. Me personally, I don't know what type of things you're getting onto here by trying to do something like this, but it's kind of crazy. Now, I will say this. But yeah, this is insane levels of weirdness. I mean, imagine making $100 million. What are you buying? A private jet? A couple of mansions by the side by side? Maybe a fleet of Porsches? Now imagine doing all that, but using nothing but the basic edit tool on Adobe Acrobat. This is Mahender Makhijani, a Newport Beach financier who just gave a whole new meaning to the phrase "fake it till you make it." He was literally charged with investor fraud. Allegedly charged with investor fraud. Now, federal agents obviously raided his multi-million-dollar coastal estate and dragged him out by his pajamas, which is insane. I mean, if you just, I mean, look at this. This is crazy. They just dragged him out. They said, "Hey, you, yeah, you're guilty. Allegedly, you're guilty. It's time to go to jail. Allegedly, you know." The feds are alleging that in this bank scheme that, this much money was taken or frauded. But guys, the financial fraud isn't even really the wildest part of this story. We're talking about forged metadata, literal corporate warfare at a historical luxury hotel, wild parties used for blackmail, allegedly, and a guy who threatened to put his own employees on welfare. Like, what? Let's break down the absolute chaos of Mahir's file. Okay, so how do you pull 100 million out of a commercial bank? Well, it really comes down to something called a first lien position. In normal person terms, if a property goes under, whoever has the first lien gets paid first. Banks love this. It's safe and it's secure. Mahir's company, Cantor Group V LLC, had to deal with a massive commercial bank. The bank said, "We'll give you 100 million to fund real estate loans, but you have to give us first lien collateral." He said, "Absolutely, no problem." Look at the pristine documents that he's providing. Now, weirdly enough, Cantor Group did not have a first lien. Other creditors were already ahead of them in the line. So what do you do when reality doesn't really match your bank application? Do you pivot your business model? Do you lower your overhead? Well, in his case, no. You open up Adobe Acrobat. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. According to the federal indictment, Mahender and an associate literally went into the PDFs of title insurance policies and edited them to say they were in the first position. But wait, they knew the bank might check the file's digital footprint, the metadata. If a bank compliance officer sees last edited by Mahender's MacBook Pro at 2 a.m., well, the jig is up. So how did they bypass the advanced digital security of a multi-billion-dollar financial institution? Well, they printed the fake PDF out. Then they scanned it back into the computer. The print and scan, the ultimate weapon against modern cybersecurity. Digital forensics equivalent of wearing a fake mustache. And the wildest part, it worked for months. He literally spreadsheeted his way into $100 million. And oh boy, did he spend it. Mahender immediately unlocked the insecure billionaire starter pack. Private jets, check. Bentley, a Porsche, and a Mercedes G-Wagon, check. But my absolute favorite detail from the court documents, he bought two massive multi-million-dollar mansions side by side in Corona del Mar. One for him and one exclusively for his in-laws. Now, I don't know about you, but if I scam a bank out of $1 million, the last thing I'm doing is setting up my mother-in-law with an unobstructed view of my backyard. That's a level of confidence that borders on a psychological condition. But while his in-laws were enjoying their coastal views, Mahender's corporate management style was apparently turning into a low-budget mafia movie. According to federal investigators, when the bank started asking questions about the discrepancies, Mahender didn't just lie on the conference calls. He allegedly went full dictator on his staff. He threatened to kill his employees, warning that he would just put their families on the street and their kids on welfare. Bro, you're editing PDFs in Newport Beach. Calm down. You're not the Wolf of Wall Street. You're the editor-in-chief of Adobe. And it gets deeper. The feds allege that he hosted lavish private gatherings filled with drugs and sex workers, allegedly, which were reportedly attended by individuals connected to financial institutions. Why? So he could allegedly use what happened at those parties as leverage and blackmail to keep everyone quiet. Talk about a Epstein 2.0, Indian style. And if you think this stayed behind closed doors, think again. Mahender got into this massive civil dispute over the management of historical Hotel Laguna. How do billionaires resolve property disputes? Well, usually with lawyers and expensive suits. But how did Mahender handle it? Investigators say he literally sent a crew of private security and bouncers to storm the lobby of a hotel, resulting in physical clashes, broken windows, and seized documents. The hotel literally had to temporarily close down because of a corporate brawl. Ultimately, the arbitrator ordered Mahender to pay a staggering $1.34 billion in judgment to the hotel owner, Mohammed Honacar. Before the feds caught up with him, and honestly, this is kind of insane, because when the feds did finally catch up to him, they weren't playing nice. I mean, would you? No, I wouldn't. It's kind of crazy. Before the feds caught up with him, Mahender reportedly bragged to his associates that if things ever went sideways, he'd just flee the country. Crazy. Spoiler alert, he didn't make it to the airport. Armed federal agents pulled off a dawn raid on his mansion, and the man who flew in private jets, wore designer clothing, was led away by the FBI, wearing his pajamas. Currently, the government says they still haven't fully traced where all the money went because it's buried under a mountain of shell companies. But Mahender is currently facing a statutory maximum of 30 years in federal prison. The moral of the story, if you're going to try and hustle a bank out of $100 million, maybe just stick to the free version of Adobe Reader. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Would you buy your in-laws a mansion next door if you hit the jackpot? Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Because if you're not in the know, then it's going to be too late for you. Money doesn't sleep, so neither do I.